Hey, this is Derek Demore with Futures Demore and Futures Networks Live. Price action can be kind of boring, so I'm going to try to spice it up a little bit, maybe put some background music on and see how we're going to do for positive points for breakfast and see how our end of day predictions are going. All right, we're going to try something new here. Let me know if the music you don't like or whatever. We can go from there. Hey, here's our bullet points for June 15th. You can see that what I do is I go one direction at market with our group's decision or back-tested calls. And then I try to go the other direction with limit orders. And in the past, it's been working really well. You can see my statistics. I usually do updates every week or month as to how we're doing. But over time, we've been profitable. So let's go through this morning and see how we did. The call was obviously for a short. We've just made new recent all-time highs. You can see in the purple on both the S&P and the NASDAQ. And the Russell, we're still a ways away, but basically we had sideways. The salmon color is my 200-day EMAs. We're totally sideways on the no trendy movement. So it was an easy call to go short today, which was our back-tested call. And what we ended up doing is I split the contracts on the S&P, and I basically made my 8 points, but I split them. And then because it was hovering right around this 42.39 line, which was a line in the sand if you look left, the NASDAQ filled right away. You can see I could have probably doubled my points almost. And then the Russell took a little bit longer, but eventually filled also for my points. Actually, I only took, I took less than that. It says this, but I wasn't watching, so I took 7 points on the Russell. So overall, we ended up with about 4 points less than normal, but 3 for 3 on the market. Now, the limit orders are really tough. It was kind of one of those things where if you see my lines on the 5-minute, I'll show you over here. We got in to DCAs. So you can see my lines. We lost both. So I lost I lost 18 points on the NASDAQ going long, which is a bummer, but you got to risk this sometimes. I kind of was thinking about doing one more DCA because if you look at the trend, we hit 100% blow off in this down channel, but it's hard to do 6 things at once, and I'm also trading live at the same time, so I'm really doing like 9 markets at the same time. But we did get in the next, so Russell, we got in our limit orders. We're close on DCAs. And then what it ended up happening is I got in on the Russell and I got in just right at that line. And what I did is, so we're halfway in between for our market. And as it was failing at the 10 period, which is my chartreuse line, the 10 period EMA on the 5-minute, I just got out of half of the contracts and wanted to see where things were going. I did the same thing. We failed at the 10 period. And so I got out of half of my contracts for some points. So we basically made 3.5 points on that. And we made 42, we made like 1.5 points on the S&P. And then what I did is I put my stop at where my average price was. So I got stopped out when it pulled back, and we got a 1/4 point profit on the other 2. And we did the same thing on the S&P. So we got positive points. All in all, I think we're down on the limit orders today. But, it was kind of with such a downtrending market, we were still able to almost break even. So I'll show you the totals at the end. Now let's look at our end of day predictions, which I tell you, I think the last 4 days, I've been, I obviously do a high end prediction and a low end prediction, but I've been within a couple points or nailing it for the last couple weeks. So I'm going to start trusting my own analysis more and more, and just really appreciate you being a part of this to learn and to be a more profitable trader. So as you can see on the MES, we barely missed it by maybe 46 in the outside of the circle by a 1/2 point, but right within the context of where my 2 end of day calls are. Now today, so all the RSIs are still in the mid 60s. Well, actually the Russell is at 59 right now. So we might, if we were in these either 2 to 3 waves on the Elliott, or we're at the you know, the 4 to 5 wave and we're going to get a pullback, we should be getting some ABC chop or maybe a wave 5 down for a while, as long as we don't break the top of the wave 1 up, which in this case, you know, it's kind of hard to tell, but I would say if this is the 2 to 3, you know, we're going back at 42.27. So we really have to stay above that, but we can look at some Elliott wave stuff in the future and see. I'm saying we need to stay above 42.33, which is the trend line on the solid. Now we might get a wick down to that 42.27 or 42.29. So I'm going to be watching this really close today. End of day, 42.27 to 42.29. All right, let's. This is how the final will look tomorrow, and let's go and look at the NASDAQ next. Super similar look on the NASDAQ, same channel, same up move. This is the second day touching the Bollinger. We obviously made a new all-time high up here, somewhere in the 151. So that's an interesting spot. So, I mean, 14,000 is now support, as you can see, the R1, the resistance 1 on the pivot of the Fibonacci pivots, and you know, new all-time high. I think we're ready for a pullback, but we're still, you know, let the market get you out of a trend is the bottom line. I mean, Anthony Crudelli talks about it, there's other people. So I'm thinking 1437 between the R1 and the R2, or we kind of bust back up and we get out and we go up to the, you know, just below the R3. All right, this is it. Let's go to the Russell next, and we can pull that up real quick and see where we're going with that. And on the Russell, yeah, it looks like we're in some ABC chop after a really nice trendy Elliott wave move up. Pure, looks like we're at a wave 5 top, but again, I think I'm going to do a video in just the 3 markets, the dailies, maybe some hourly or 4-hour candle stuff, and just talk about trendy moves and where we're at. We're far away from the all-time high, but it would be nice if we get one more after this ABC chop. We might come back down to 2283-ish and then get a move up. We need to hold 2300 if we're going to stay in the trendy move, but I'm thinking end of day 2309 or 2331. I don't see us busting out of this today, but we shall see. All right, guys, here's the final on the day. We ended up, interestingly enough, you know, we took 7.5 on 2 contracts. We took the 24 and we took the 7. We would have filled on all of them for the 42 points, but still 38.5 with 241 currency units. Good day. On the limit orders going the opposite direction, we ended up with negative points. That's because we lost 18 on the 4 contracts of the NAS, but we ended up with positive currency units, only winning 1 out of, well, not even really winning 1 out of 3, kind of modifying 2 to see if it turned around, but it didn't. So we protected ourselves and we ended up, you know, basically breaking even after commissions. So again, positive points for breakfast, and thanks for being with Futures Des Moines and Futures Networks Live. Come over, learn cryptos, learn everything. Great place to be and just become a more successful trader. Thanks. Have a great day.